Okay, now, the next important question that I think our consumers are going to want some clarity on is there's a lot of confusion about soil-based organisms, and we've even had competitors say they're not safe. Can you please explain or shed some light on that for us, Lee?
Sure. First of all, it's really important for listeners to hear that all probiotics initiated from the soil. They were all isolated from the soil. And they were all isolated in mixes. As I always have told my students in the past, there are no pure cultures in nature. So they all appear together. These organisms have been used, literally, scientists have found, before fire. People used to make mesh baskets which they buried in the ground and stored their grains and foods. And these foods were naturally fermented by the bacteria in the soil, and man has been consuming these for thousands and thousands of years. Additionally, what's really important is that early man continued to re-inoculate himself with these organisms over thousands of years. He didn't wash his hands before meals. He didn't have regular hot water baths with antibacterial soap. and so he was constantly getting these organisms out of soil sources, off plants that he was picking to eat, and don't forget, a major source of food for early man were roots that were dug. And so those roots had probiotic bacteria on them all over the place. So does organic soil today. So from very early times, man has been consuming these organisms. And I want to come back again. Importantly, the organisms and all mammals have been adjusting to this probiotic mix. That's why we know a little bit about what organisms should be in the gut. And don't forget that the colon contains about 400 to 600 different species of organisms in the gut. Some scientists believe that we haven't even found them all yet. It's kind of like the moon. It's not fully discovered. It's not fully researched. So fast forward a little bit to more civilized times when man lived in big cities and didn't have sewer systems, or again, a way to take the toxins away from the people. People found out that they got sick from drinking water. So what did they do? They learned how to make beer and wine, and that's how they purified their water system. So what we know is that not only are these organisms safe, but they are beneficial in that they help keep harmful bacteria and yeasts under control, and they promote the growth. It's well known that lactobacillus, for instance, promotes the growth of other beneficial organisms in the gut. So really, there are no safety issues with these kinds of organisms. These are the probiotics that man started out with.
Fantastic. So, and through Biotics, we're able to reintroduce them based on the fact that they've really kind of disappeared from our soil. And